Hi, this is Mary Beth Harrison with the Dallas Native Group at Dave Perry Miller. And I have a guest in the nest again today. You know, we ought to start calling this Lunch and Learn or something because it's always time. And I hope you all are downing a sandwich or something while you're listening to this because it's always just a wealth of information. And today I have Sydney Waits with me with 210 Home Service Contract. And I I'm so glad to have you because I have a million questions. So I know if I have a million questions, our viewing area does too. So if you guys have any questions, go into chat, and Candace, our handy look at it and keep track of stuff, Candace Barnes with my group is going to be watching for that. And then as you have any questions, just raise your hand, Candace, and we'll try and stop talking, although it's not going to be easy to do because I have so many questions. So Sydney, I'm so glad you're on here because home warranties, which I want to correct that word right off the top. We call them home warranties for a really long time, and that's a misnomer because you all don't warrant anything. You are a service company. So I want to touch on that first. But also, what the heck is a home service contract? Let's just start there. It's like, what exactly are you and why do you all even exist?
Well, our residential service contracts are really going to help you protect the systems and appliances in your home for when the unexpected happens.
Oh, that never happens.
So, especially for a new home buyer, you're buying a home that you've never lived in before. All you know about it is that quick little 4-hour snapshot that your home inspector viewed, and that's about it. And if we're lucky, we get a full disclosure seller that's going to tell you all the ins and outs of the home. By the way, this light switch controls this, and any of your tidbits of the home, but that's about all that you know about your home. And so by adding
one thing I want to address to that while you said that, because it brings up a good point. First of all, your inspector is a generalist. It would be like going to your general doctor and he goes, oh my gosh, Sydney, you need heart surgery and you need it right now and let's go. I think you're probably going to go, you know what? Let me go to the cardiologist and let's see exactly what's going on here. So we've got a generalist giving you a general idea of what's happened here. But the more important thing is the minute that inspector walks out the door, that inspection is worthless because what was working today might not necessarily be working next week. And I kind of compare it to the fact that I woke up this morning and I was feeling great. I went and worked out and everything was great and I feel wonderful. And here it is 8 o'clock at night and it's kind of like, kind of getting a little bit of a sore throat. Well, I was fine this morning. And so it's the same thing, say with your disposal or your dishwasher or whatever. It was fine today.
That's a great analogy, Mary Beth.
Right. A week from now, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. It's not that the seller lied or that the inspector was inept. It was fine when he saw it,
Of course. Yeah. And, there's also some systems that can't fully be tested depending on seasonality. So are you really truly able to inspect? Can a generalist truly inspect the efficacy of the air conditioner in the middle of winter? Or maybe you have multiple hot water heaters and there was just one couple that took showers in that home, and now you're moving in with multiple teenagers and a mom with long hair who takes 45-minute showers, and so you don't really know how those hot water heaters are going to perform and what the life expectancy is going to be on them now that they're fully being used at capacity. And so it's just that extra layer of security built into your home ownership for you to help offset the cost for you.
Yeah, and one thing too I want to bring up and have you address, I have such a pet peeve when I hear realtors say, oh, don't worry about that in inspection. The home warranty will cover it. Well, first of all, it's not a home warranty. Let's go there. It's a home service contract. But nonetheless, they kind of look to you guys as the savior of everything. And that's not how this works. You're not there to take an unhealthy house and make it healthy. That's not your job. It's kind of like going for health insurance and you walk in to get new health insurance and your arm's broken. I can guarantee you, because I've been there, they're not going to insure that right arm for a period of time until that gets healthy, and then they'll add that right arm to your insurance. So it's the same principle for you guys.
Sure. Well, look at life insurance. If you're purchasing a $500,000 life insurance policy, they're going to want you to have a health checkup and submit that health checkup to the company so they can verify that you're not going to die tomorrow or, you don't have, So I think if thinking of residential service contracts in that way is so important in the due diligence that you do when you're purchasing your home is going to give you peace of mind that those systems are going to be covered after closing.
Yeah. And, I kind of think of it too. I know sellers feel like they're getting the raw end of the deal because it says the buyer chooses the service contract, but the seller pays for it. And that's the way our contracts read right now, and will for the foreseeable future as I see it. I kind of look at it as an insurance policy for the seller because, like I said, things don't stay the same. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month into the process, the dishwasher breaks or the disposal goes. And they're sitting there going, those sellers, they knew and they just patched it. And, I mean, it's just for what, $75? Isn't that your service fee? For
service fee, $75.
Yeah, you guys will come and repair it or replace it. So those buyers aren't even going to remember the seller's name at that point because for $75, you fixed it. And so I look at it from the seller standpoint is a little bit of just a padding around them for what can go wrong will go wrong. And we all know that. If you're a homeowner, you just know nothing's going to stay good for forever. So, that I do. And one other thing I want to jump in and say, because so many of us right now, gosh, we're in such horrible multiple offer situations with our buyers. And I know that every agent is trying to skinny down an offer as much as possible, like the buyer's paying closing, paying title policy, which is pretty rare in Dallas, but that's happening now. And they're taking the warranty, the service contract out so that it's a blank there or a zero. And what I've done is filled it in. So the buyer's going to choose a home warranty company for however much, $600, $675, whatever it is. But in special provisions, I go back and refer to that paragraph and go, buyer will pay for the home service contract. And so there's ways to get around it without taking it out of the contract. So that kind of, again, everyone's a little bit protected, So anyway, jump into this.
There's other options as well. The buyer, at least with our company, has 30 days from the date of purchase that they can purchase a home warranty on their own. So I think for a real estate agent, it's really smart to at least have the conversation that this is an option that's available to you. Also for a listing agent to present to the buyer's agent, just FYI, this is the company that's currently covering my sellers. If you're interested in continuing that coverage, here's their brochure. And here's maybe some reasons why. Because if you are continuing coverage with the same company, then you're extending that history on the property, as long as it's a company that you like, right?
Yeah, good point. Talk to me about seller's coverage, because I don't know that I know a lot about that. So talk to me about that.
So seller's coverage is a residential service agreement that can only be utilized when a seller is working with a real estate agent.
Okay.
And so it is complimentary to the homeowner when set up through a realtor.
Complimentary
free, as in free. It's a no-brainer. Every single listing should just have it. And it's same thing for the seller as it is for the buyer. It's going to protect you when the unexpected happens in your home. Are we going to remodel the home for you? No. If you know that sink's been leaking or none of those GFCIs work, those will still need to be handled just like you would before you list it. You're still going to take care of those. But what happens if the hot water heater goes out a couple weeks after you've listed, or during the inspection you discover slow drains, temperature differentials? How easy is it for you to just file a claim for $75 and have those taken care of?
Good point. Okay. Learned something new today. All right. So seller coverage is free, and other than the
service fee.
Thank you. The service fee, that's a big word. Thank you for them, for the service company to come out. And then how do you choose your service companies? How does that, where do they come from?
Well, goodness, we have been in business for over 41 years. So we have an extremely extensive net. Our company has been here a long time. So we have a very extensive network. So we vet it based on their personal insurances, licensing, their reviews, and their ability to handle the workload that comes with working for a company such as ourselves. Plus, after every single visit from a contractor, we have a third-party survey company called Avid that sends out a survey to the homeowner. So this isn't something that's controlled by us. We've hired a third party specifically for this reason, so we get an unbiased opinion of how we and our contractors performed. And if our contractors have great reviews, our homeowners love them, they are getting the majority of the claims, and they are getting bumped to the top of our list. Now, if we get a poor review from a contractor, they get demoted and eventually completely removed from our list altogether, which is difficult because a lot of companies have added additional staff and built their business upon serving our clients. So they have some skin in the game with us. They've got to continue to perform well.
Right. Well, it's like anyone that we've referred over the years. When you refer someone, your name's on the line. It's always going to come back. While they may be mad at the person who did the service, it's always going to come back to you as, well, but you recommended, you gave us the name. And so, yeah, I don't recommend things lightly because it's my name on the line, even though they're the ones that did or didn't perform. And I know in all the years we've used you guys, I think, how many years? I mean, it's been a long time.
10 maybe? It's been a long time, yeah.
Only had one time that a buyer called to say we got a problem, and I made one phone call to Sydney and I didn't have that problem anymore. So the fact that you got someone that you can call and go, hey, I'm not happy with this service person, or they said they fixed it but it's still broken, or whatever can happen. I mean, no one's infallible. I wish, but we all have bad days or things don't go quite what we wanted. And so I love that there's someone you can call and go, wait a minute, I got a problem.
911, I need help. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's job security for me, here being your DFW rep. And I really enjoy taking care of my homeowners and my real estate agents, and sometimes that phone call is as simple as education. Yeah. What is this home warranty? How do I use it? I really love it when homeowners take the time to ask questions to understand their coverage. And I think that is so important, to understanding what you have, what is covered, how does it work?
Yeah, and let's talk about that a minute, because I kind of always explain it as, if you can see it, they're not going to fix it. So things like rugs that are rippled, that just need to be stretched, and our tiles that are broken, or I call them cosmetics, actually, any kind of cosmetic things, windows that aren't functioning properly. That's not your job. So kind of give us an overview of what does a home service contract cover? It's vast. So we could be here for another hours.
It's very simple. Very simple. It's all the major systems and appliances in your home: HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and appliances. So all of those components built within there, those are covered. Gotcha. So it's very simple. So yes, your plumbing, I saw a question come up in the chat box. Yes, plumbing is covered. It's not a separate add-on. That is all included in both of our plans, whether it's a base plan or our more supreme plan.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about add-ons, because there's one in particular that I really feel strongly
about. You have a favorite?
It is my favorite, because it's a big expense if it happens. I mean, this is not for the faint of heart if it does happen. And that's your extended pipe coverage, because I don't know another company that has that. I actually haven't looked around because I've been using y'all for so long. So I've not taken two policies and put them side by side, but I really don't know of another service company that does that. So explain the extended pipe coverage
Okay, so our residential service contracts, just our basic plans, are going to cover all the systems and appliances within the home. So think of anything that's sitting on top of the foundation, that's going to be covered. But one of the most important parts of your plumbing is what connects your plumbing from your home to the street, to the city. And so that's your main line, your sewer lines, things like that. So we have an extra protection added there called extended pipe leak. So if you have a break in one of those lines or any issues, as long as they're not related to roots and nature taking hold, but deterioration, shifting of the ground, these are your most common sources of those breaks, it extends that coverage for you. And it's $60.
Yeah, it's on the majority of everything that I get from you all, because I think it's such a, you talk about a hidden problem. It's a huge problem. And like you said, our ground, the Texas soil is so expansive. When it rains, it swells up. And when it dries, which you all know, we go through our drought period, it shrinks. And so the pipe's sitting within this ground that's coming and going and shifting around and moving. And so for those pipes to come undone is not hard to imagine. And give me the kind of a vague price of what it would cost if I didn't have you guys. What would it cost me to have that fixed on a normal house? You can't tell me for positive, but what's a normal
Sure. Fix? So a normal fix is going to be, for your average homeowner, it will be several $1,000s to fix that item. Several $1,000s.
For $75, you all will come out and deal with it.
Yes.
Wait,
yes.
That's no brainer. I mean, let me just see if I've got this right. Several $1,000s, $75. Let me think on that just a minute. I might need to get my calculator out, but I think I've got that. And I want to talk about another, what I think is probably, you have something, Candace? Sorry.
Yeah, there was a clarification. There was what is the cost of a warrant? Like, what's the cost of the visit? If they have the warranty, what is that cost?
So we consider a visit a service fee for $75 with our company.
Right. That's what I'm saying. 75,000. Wait. And so tell me, what is the largest usage of your service contract? I think I know the answer, but again, let's talk about what is the highest usage, or meaning how many calls do you get on this particular item, or the most calls you get for a particular item, and the difference between what it would cost someone versus what.
Okay, so our number one highest used claim is HVAC in Texas. It is very hot here in Texas. And then we do have a very chilly winter. So our systems are getting taxed very, very heavily. Hundreds of HVAC calls a month just in DFW. Our average homeowner files between 2 and 5 claims their first year. 80% of those are HVAC calls just in their first year. So that's hugely important, and that's why our claim to fame in the service industry is that we have the best, hands down, HVAC coverage.
Just lost you there. Let's see. There we go.
Here you are.
Go back.
Okay, so we're talking about HVAC coverage. Our most used claim, that's why we have in the industry the best coverage. When you compare us side by side, apples to apples, to all the other competitors in the industry, we win hands down every single time. Something as simple as Freon being included at no additional charge. Freon, y'all, it's not even manufactured anymore, and it is expensive, $80 to $200 a pound right now in DFW. Yeah. And so for companies that don't cover Freon, that's a big out-of-pocket expense. Or maybe they have a $10 cap, because sometimes you'll see it's included, but you look in the fine print and they say $10 per pound cap. Well, is it really covered in those circumstances? And, I'd say that's the most common element of the HVAC coverage, is they come out for your servicing in the summer. Maybe it's not cooling quite right. They say, you know what, you're low about 4 pounds of Freon. We need to fill her up, essentially. Yeah, and it's completely covered.
All of our, I don't know exactly what year that changed, 5 years ago that it changed to a non-Freon system I don't know exactly the date.
2020 was the date where it was no longer legal to manufacture.
2020, wow, that's really recent. I mean, that's real recent. Although if it was changed out before that, they were changing it to the new system, but that was the drop dead date, was 2020?
2020 was the drop dead date. The majority of homes in DFW have Freon-based systems.
Yeah. If you have any kind of an older system at all, I didn't realize it was as recent as 2020. So wow, that's a biggie. That's huge, really. I had no idea it pushed it. I thought that it was about 5 years ago that they stopped allowing the Freon systems, but gosh, learned something else today.
Well, fun fact, just because you have a system that currently uses Freon as its coolant does not mean that your system is bad.
Right.
Okay? Freons can still be obtained, but also you can retrofit your system to utilize some of the newer coolants. Puron is really popular here in DFW, and we also cover the cost of retrofitting.
Oh, wow. That's huge. I did not know you could do that. See, now it's my third thing. I knew I wanted you as a guest in here because I have so many questions. It's like, this is, I sit here and ask another 100 questions because everything brings up something else that I'm like, I didn't know that. So that's so cool to know.
Yeah, it's a simple process. It takes maybe 45 minutes for them to do. And if we're going to, say, replace a condenser or replace a coil or something, whether the HVAC technician says, hey, this system could use a retrofitting, we're going to say yes, because it's a covered item. A lot of times that would be an additional charge for the homeowner with other companies.
Right. Well, I think it probably helps you in the long run because now this system's not going to get a phone call every year going, hey, I need you to come out. So, it works both ways. It's good for you and it's good for the homeowner.
Yeah, we're a little different from other service companies in that our average homeowner stays with us for a long, long time. It's one of the reasons we've been able to survive as a company so long is that customer retention. And part of that is because sometimes putting a Band-Aid on something is not going to be the best way to get a renewal or have a long-term client. So if it needs to be truly fixed or replaced, we're going to fix it or replace it rather than just put a cork in it, essentially.
I got to tell you, that is my absolute pet peeve with service contracts. Not you guys, but other service. I swear they walk up and go, oh, look, you have a red door. We're not fixing air conditionings on red doors. I mean, I don't know what the excuse is, but it might as well be that ridiculous. They will Band-Aid it and Band-Aid it and Band-Aid it until a Band-Aid will not stay on any longer before they will ever replace it. When in fact, the first day they showed up, it should have just been replaced. That is an absolute, you want to push my pet peeve button? That does it right there. Because who do they call? They don't call you guys to gripe about it. They call me and go, do you know that that's the calls I get. And so I can't begin to express to you, I don't get calls from you guys. I mean, not from you, but about you guys. I get no. Oh my gosh, it's the biggest blessing that has ever happened is that I don't get that phone call of, that home service company didn't do, they didn't show up or they sent someone that was inept. You have taken all of that off of me, which is such a gift. Because again, I'm the one that suggested it, because you going, who do I choose? You've got several companies to choose from in Dallas and Texas area. And it's just, it makes a difference on who you choose and how you get it covered. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's huge.
I have homeowners all the time say, I just don't understand how, with the fact that you guys promote that you approve 97.5% of every claim that comes through, how do you keep your doors open? Well, we have a little different philosophy as a company. You're never going to see a ton of advertising around anywhere. We are a word of mouth company. We've been around for a long time, have a huge successful client base. And one of the reasons we're able to afford to do that is that we don't spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on advertising like some of the other companies where you see them left and right in your emails, on TV, in every real estate office. And so that's, I think, a huge point of difference for us.
I can appreciate
chat box about foundation.
Yes, I was going to say, we do have a question about foundation. Is there a warranty for that?
Oh, yes. Well, that's actually how we got our start. We are the post-it note of new home and structural foundations. So that is definitely our one of our biggest aspects of our company. However, structural warranties cannot be added post-construction. They are only offered through a builder. So if you're purchasing a new construction home, I would be asking that builder, what's your structural warranty look like? If they don't have a structural warranty, 100% every single time, you should insist on one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even buy it without one.
And explain, excuse me, explain that a little bit. It's, I call it the 1-2-10 is what I call it, is the 1-2-10 warranty.
Which is where we got our name, 210 warranty.
The first year for a builder. Now this is new construction, guys. So please hear this is only new construction. For the first year, it's all the systems, basically the whole house is
bumper
covered.
to bumper.
Right. And so, but the second year, it's systems like plumbing, electrical, the biggies as I call it, plumbing, electrical, what else?
And manufacturer warranties.
Manufacturer warranties. And then the 10 years becomes the foundation and the roof, right?
Or structural elements, yes.
Right. And so that's and so any good builder, any reputable builder will offer that. Because again, it's kind of a difference for them. I mean, think about it. If something goes wrong, through no fault of anybody's, but it just did, then you got someone to cover you. So that's, that's a feature.
Here's a little fear factor pill for you. Right now, what's happening in DFW? Our market is booming, right? They're building north, they're building east, they're building west, they're building in town. And so what's happening is we're seeing a lot of mom and pop builders break into the market to take advantage of this boom. Okay, but does that mom and pop builder have the sustainability within their company to still be in business in 10 years? We don't know. And so when they purchase an external insurance product, such as our structural warranty, that ensures to the homeowner that regardless of what's going on with that builder, that their property is still going to be covered.
Yeah, good point. Really good. Yeah. So there's a new home warranty that is strictly done by the builder. And then there's this 210 home warranty that is residential pre-sale.
Yes, two separate divisions.
Right.
Now, fun fact, we have, for our resale homeowners, we have a new construction extension product.
Oh.
Yeah, so when you buy a new home, the first year is bumper to bumper, all your systems and appliances and everything. Well, when a buyer is purchasing a home through a builder, they can, through us, extend that first year of coverage to 4 years.
Yeah,
and it's only...
She did when Candace bought a new home several years ago. That's when I think we learned about this. And she put that on hers. Yeah.
New construction extension warranty, 9 times out of 10, the buyer does need to purchase it themselves in a market like ours, but it is well worth it. It can only be purchased in those first 30 days after closing. Okay. And it's $650 and extends that bumper to bumper coverage for 4 years.
That's huge. I mean, really, that's just huge. And, and again, it's not like the builder set out to do something wrong. It's that the dishwasher was just faulty. I mean, it just was. It wasn't anyone's fault. It just one of those, you buy a new car and you happen to get the one that was, kept having transmission trouble or whatever. It's no one set out to be that way. It just happens. And so, I always say too, because I always insist that new construction, you have an inspection just like you do on a resale. I'm really pretty fanatical about that. Again, they didn't intend to do a bad job, but the electrician was over here and he was getting ready to do this, but he got called over there to help someone, and this got sealed in and it never got done. And so, that happens. Life happens. And so it's stuff like that's really a huge thing. I want to talk about something else, unless we need more about this, and that's okay too. Can we answer the foundation question, Candace? I'm sorry, we got off on a tangent.
Yes, you did. You answered the foundation question.
I can't believe we got off on
Chris Clay is our new home rep here in DFW. He's phenomenal, lives in Louisville, and extremely well-versed.
What's his name?
Chris Clay.
Chris Clay, good to know. What was my next? Oh, okay, let's talk about, we have the general coverage that covers kind of the whole house, everything but cosmetic. That's kind of how I look at it. It's if you can see it, you don't fix it. So like a crack in the tile, that's not your job. Your job is kind of what caused the crack.
Appliances, yes.
Exactly. So what other things that aren't in that initial package might be added? I know for one is like a swimming pool. If someone has a swimming pool, if you don't, why would you need the coverage? I mean, that's ridiculous. And so I know that's an add-on. Let's talk about what some of the add-ons are and why are they even there?
Okay. Well, with 210, we don't have a huge list of add-ons because so much is built into our plans. We know that every client, regardless of budget, is going to want great coverage. And so why would we build in all of the customization options into it if it's not needed? For example, you can cover additional refrigerators. So maybe you have a wine bar or a deep freezer in your garage, 2 Sub-Zero refrigerators in your kitchen, and you want them both covered. Those items.
Refrigerators. Instead of one empty refrigerator, I would have 2 empty refrigerators. Go ahead.
We see it all. So there's ways you can customize that. We also have one called our luxury pack, and we're the only service company in DFW, I believe, there's this. And it's $100, get this, and it removes all appliance limits and removes your water heater limit.
Wait, so I could have 2 refrigerators?
It's still just going to cover your 1 refrigerator, but here's the difference. So maybe we have your average homeowner is going to have your KitchenAid, your GE, your plans like that. But in a luxury home, we see higher dollar, higher value items. We see Wolf ranges, we Sub-Zero, we see Thermador, and y'all, those aren't cheap. And our average for our basic plan, it's $3,000 per appliance per year. Perfectly sufficient. Now, if your refrigerator costs $10,000, that $3,000 is not going to make much of a dent, is it? And so it is for that client that has those types of appliances, or maybe you have a larger home and you have 4 water heaters, where you need to increase your water heater limit. That's very popular here. Even if you don't have a luxury home, we see larger homes that have multiple hot water heaters. So that's an interesting add-on that I see quite a bit in the Dallas area.
I could see why. I could totally see why. Like you said, just replacing a Wolf range alone, or what's the other one? I just went brain dead. Anyway.
One, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a bad day for that.
Yeah, we just had, I have a client who had they had a Thermador vent, because it was one of those freestanding vents on an island, a very modern home that went out and needed replacement. I never in a million years would have thought they were as expensive as they were, but it was very expensive. And because they had the luxury option, they were able to get the buyout to be able to replace it.
Wow. That's another. See, now I've learned 4 new things today. All right, so what are some other things that are I know the extended pipe leak. I know the pool. What am I missing?
Well, we do have the option for a roof leak option.
Oh. Okay.
So the roof leak is $100. Now, this really was not heavily used. It's not new, but it didn't used to be heavily used until the changes have happened in the insurance business. So no longer can roofing companies take the cost of the deductible off of replacement. So we're seeing more roof repairs versus replacements. It used to be, oh, I've got a patch of hail, I'm getting a new roof from the insurance company. You know that we're not seeing that as often. So the roof leak is going to be for roof repairs. So maybe you have a patch in your roof that's leaking after a big storm. You can actually get that covered.
Texas, are you kidding me?
No storms here in Texas.
Yeah, never going to be a problem.
Yeah, so that one is that's a good one that we're starting to see become more popular. And then we also have our preseason HVAC tune-up.
Oh, okay.
It's $50. It's an extra service. So they are actually prepaying for a service to have an HVAC technician come out either in the spring or the fall, and it's kind of like getting your oil changed in your car. Mm-hmm. It's a checkup. It's topping off all your goodies within it and ensuring everything is working and functioning as should be. It's $50, super simple. Would typically cost you about $150 to $250 to have that done.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So for $50, it's a nice little savings for you.
And you should do that every year.
Every year.
Be doing a checkup on their HVAC system every year. That should be just like, you go to the doctor and get your checkup. You need to get that serviced as well. In my understanding, and this has been before, is when you have a new system, brand new system, if you don't get it serviced within the first year, it negates the warranty on that HVAC. Am I correct about that?
Yes. Also, not changing your air filters.
Right.
Can void a manufacturer warranty. And so those same, not changing your air filters is going to be the same thing that could cause a pre-existing condition for us if your system fails. So if we come and that air filter's never been changed and there's 6 inches of dog hair piled up on your filters, it's pretty apparent that system hasn't been maintained.
Right. Or when you look up,
simple.
All the vents are filthy. The vents in
they're all black.
all nasty, dirty. That's a really red flag that you have not changed your filters. And those filters need to be changed, if not every month, certainly every other month. It's like.
Depends on the system. Some newer systems have filters that are this thick and they say every 6 months. It will say on your manual for your air conditioner, if you have a new one installed, it tells you about how often it needs to be filled. You just follow those instructions. But if your system is 10 years old or older, just assume every month pop a new filter in. They're cheap.
One of my inspectors one day said, on an older system, every time you write a check for or pay your electric bill, go change your filter. I thought, what is that? It's just knock that out. And it will make your system run so much more efficiently that will save you money in the long run, just electric wise. It's a huge savings when it's all said and done. But really the important thing is if you don't get it serviced within that first year of ownership, it negates your warranty on that new system. So just something to kind of stick in the back of your head if you're getting a new system. Yeah, Candace?
Can you choose what vendor you work with? Like if you don't want to work with somebody within your network, with 210's network, can the person choose who they want to work with?
Yes, so we call that our out-of-network contractor program. We use the term ONC within our company. And this is important. Sometimes I will tell my homeowners when they call me specifically, I recommend, as of today, you find your own contractor, right? Because during peak season, especially with HVAC, or let's talk about that freeze that we just had, and plumbers were a smidge hard to find. If you have a guy in your neighborhood that will come to you today, gosh darn it, you just hire him. But the only thing is you just need to let us know first. So we need to call in when you place your claim, let your claim advisor know, by the way, I'd like to use my own contractor. Now, this gets a little bit complicated because there's a few things involved in it. Depends on what your claim is. You may not always want to use your own contractor because residential service contracts, one of the ways that we're able to stay in business and replace so many things for our homeowners is that we purchase appliances and condensers and all of those water heaters directly from the manufacturer. We're not paying markup. We're not going to pay markup. So if your contractor says he can get you a hot water heater today, but it's going to cost him $1,800 where it would cost us $600, we will only pay the $600 for that hot water heater. Does that make sense?
You know, the other thing that we're seeing, because the market is so crazy, and then the weather, and then is that the wait time to get appliances right now is staggering. I mean, we're 3 to 6 months to get a new refrigerator or a washer dryer or a water heater or a
pool pump.
Yes, a big deal is a pool pump, exactly. So to have that resource that you already have is really huge. It's a huge problem right now. Yeah.
We have priority over Home Depot. We buy more appliances as a company than Home Depot. Imagine that. So who do you think gets first dibs?
Yeah, wow.
That's going to be us. So we have national buying power, and that's going to allow us. Does that mean I'm going to be able to get you when pool pumps are in short supply? Does that mean we're going to be able to get it to you tomorrow? Not necessarily, but we're going to communicate with you when that will be in, and it's definitely going to still be a covered item. Or we have an option called a cash buyout. So if you are able to source one quicker than we are during times of shortage, during normal situations, we're never going to have an issue getting things, but during shortage or crisis situations like we just went through in 2020, you can choose what you want, and we'll mail you a check in the mail.
Huh, that's good to know.
The cash buyout.
That's really good to know. I've learned so much today. This is just incredible. What have I not asked you? Or what other ads did we not talk about? I think that probably covers.
Yeah, we've talked about so much, but here's an interesting thing. A point of difference with our company, we do a lot of business in rural communities. Oh. So a lot of buyers, because of 2020, have decided, you know what, maybe I don't need to live in this urban community. I'm going to cash out and go buy myself a 3-acre property out in Rockwall, right? And so properties are oftentimes built differently than an urban environment, meaning they have septic systems, and sometimes they even have wells. So we have septic coverage built into our pricing for no additional charge. Which is very important. And we also do have the option to add well pump coverage.
Wow.
Yeah, or maybe you have a vacation home out on the lake that has a septic system. I think that's an important thing to note, is that we do cover rural properties.
Okay, so here's a question that just came into my head. So I've owned a property for 3 years, and I've decided I'm an idiot. I should have had this all along. Can I do that, first of all? Can I, as a layman, just walk in off the street and go, I want to warrant a home service contract on my house? And then how do you do your well checkup to know, meaning not well as in drinking water, but your healthy checkup to know that you're not taking on a problem child? How does that work, or can it work?
For a pre-existing home? Well, a lot of times a homeowner is going to have those records of service, because if you have a septic system or you have a well, part of your process is having your septic pump tanked and your system serviced. So I would make sure to be saving those service records. And if an issue happens where we ask for additional documentation, we would just ask you to send that over. Here's another thing. Maybe you haven't been really great at servicing your home. Because is every homeowner awesome at it? Let's be honest, they're not. And you've decided, you know what, I am really starting to feel like I need a little bit of extra protection on my house. There's no shame in having an HVAC technician or a septic person or a plumber come out and just do a check. Do a quick inspection on your home and say, hey, is there anything that I need to be aware of? And now you have the documentation for that, so that if anything happened when you're signing up for a new service contract, you have some documentation that you've at least inspected some of your systems, but hopefully our homeowners have been keeping service records and maintaining their home appropriately.
I kind of call it the biggies, you know, the biggies of a house that are going to cost a lot of money when it happens. It's just water heaters, your appliances, your HVAC, your roof, your foundation, and the biggies that come into play. So yeah, the whole electrical system or the whole plumbing system, for any of that to go awry is,
it's tough to have those inspected. Yeah.
There'd be a major default of those, but the sink leaking, different situation, or the toilet, different situation, but the plumbing as a whole or the electrical system as a whole, yeah, we rarely see a complete default on that, you know.
But there's some systems that just require maintenance. And so it's good to just start, even for our homeowners that aren't choosing to go with 210, I always recommend start a service records folder. Get a little accordion folder and just start tracking the things and the money that you spent in your home, because I tell you, when you call Mary Beth to sell your house, she is greatly going to appreciate the fact that you have those service records.
Yes, I am. You're absolutely right. Candace?
We've got a question. How long does it take someone to get to the house? From the time that it happens to the time that I call, how long is it going to take you to send somebody?
Sure. So it's going to really truly depend on the time of year and the system that you're calling. We have a rule with our contractors is they must make an appointment with our homeowners within 24 hours. That is the rule. And so we like to have our contractors come to you very quickly. Now, if there's going to be any delays, like say they can't come out for 3 days, right? You can always call us and we can reassign a contractor, or you can choose to find your own contractor. But 9 times out of 10, I see the contractor for a service issue getting there within 48 to 72 hours. However, sometimes there's an emergency. Would you agree? Some things can't wait that long. And so all you have to do is let us know this is an emergency. I've got running water. We'll coach you on how to shut your water off, and we'll get someone there very quickly. So, but good thing to note is that emergent calls, 911, 2 o'clock in the morning calls, it is probably not going to be one of our contractors. It's going to be your guy that you called that was open 24 hours. If that happens, we understand. Simply call us the next morning. We'll ask you to send us the receipt. And as long as it's a covered item, we'll reimburse you, because we truly take the safety and security of our homeowners as a priority.
So do they pay the service guy the $75? Is that how that works? Or do they pay you guys? How does that work?
Yeah, so they'll pay the contractor directly, the $75. That's a little bit different. A lot of other companies take your payment over the phone, but we have found that contractors are more motivated to come to you quickly if they know they're walking away with some money. So that's why we have that policy, is for the homeowner to pay the contractor directly.
Got it. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, yeah. Candace?
So a question, are you seeing delays for parts due to COVID still?
Depends on the system. Refrigerators, yes. 100%. Refrigerators have some delays. Some kitchen appliances are having some delays, but we have changed some of our authorization to where if it's a part that the contractor can locally source, we're allowing them to locally source that. If there's stockpiles or at a local distributor, for sure.
Yeah, between COVID and the winter ridiculousness that we had, I mean, plumbing parts, they've been talking about it on the news, that plumbing parts are becoming harder and harder to get. I mean, even our builders, they're delayed because of all of that as well. And so it's kind of a ripple effect of huge proportion. So,
but we communicate that. So if we're doing a replacement, we're going to tell you up front, we can get this the GE one that you're wanting. It's going to be a 3-week wait, but I can get you a Whirlpool today. So we can give options, or we can give a third option. We'll go ahead and send you a check if you can find one locally, and you can go find the one you want. So I think the fact that we do communicate those things, it's never by the way, we're going to install it. And then a month later, you're like, hey, where's my refrigerator? Oh, we didn't tell you? They're not available.
I say that about everything, all through a transaction, all through just life. Communication's a wonderful thing. I mean, just tell me, just let me know what, and then my expectations aren't this because we know it's going to be that, just having a conversation with people. It's kind of like going to the dentist. I'm not going to sit there and go, don't tell me what we're going to do today and be shocked. I mean, I want you to tell me, what are we going to do today? What are my expectations of this visit at the doctor or the dentist or the surgery I'm going to have? I went in blindfolded going, yeah, y'all just have at it. Let me know when you're done. It's just communication is everything right now. Just tell me what to expect. I'll be okay with that.
So we have a homeowner portal for all of our homeowners. So homeowners can choose to call in claims, or they can log in 24 hours a day on their very own portal. And it is going to tell them the name, the phone number of their